Hey guys, what's up? Loco here. For you today, I have a very exciting game. We have TSM versus Cloud9. Both teams have shown the best early game in the league so far, so that part of the game is going to be very exciting. But it's when we get to the mid game, there's a huge problem for TSM. A lot of TSM's losses has been from how badly they played mid game. They often don't play to their win condition, and they look kind of lost in team fights too. Dardoch does a really good job of engaging, but not everyone is on the same page about how they're going to play out the team fights, and it's going to be a really big problem versus C9, who have shown to be the most coordinated and the fast-pacing team in the league when it comes to mid-game and when it comes to snowballing. Also, Dardoch versus Blabber is going to be an incredibly hyped matchup. Dardoch was the original giga-hyped-up rookie jungler, and now it's kind of the passing of the torch to Blabber, who's been a monster player in his first full split of playing, so yeah, a very, very fun matchup ahead. Also, a fun fact, apparently Licorice and Niski were playing rock, paper, scissors for draft resources before the game, and Licorice won. So yeah, let's see what that entails, and let's get started with the draft. Let's start with TSM's bans. Tom Kench has been one of the most frequently picked supports for C9, and Vulcan has been amazing on it. It's a really lane dominant pick actually, because no one's been picking range champions, so Tom Kench is able to beat pretty much anyone in lane. And also it really helps with the rotation and pairs really nicely with Zben's favorite champions, Ezreal, Varus, Senna, so it makes a lot of sense. Talking about Senna also getting banned out. TSM hasn't been a really good Senna team. I don't think any team has been really good at Senna other than C9 and EG, so it makes a lot of sense to ban. And then the Pantheon ban might be a little bit weird, but if we peep a little bit into the future, Bjergsen actually ends up playing Irelia in the game versus FlyQuest, and Pantheon is one of the best counters to melee mids that Bjergsen likes to play. Maybe they also prep the Yasuo, maybe they just prep the Irelia. But Niski has shown that he is willing to play the counter picks like Pantheon, so yeah, if TSM has any plans to pick a champion like Irelia, it is good to have that banned, especially from blue side. As for C9, they went with a very standard pick and ban phase. Ornn and Aphelios, those are pretty much red side taxes that you have to pay. Syndra, also very understandable considering it's TSM, and it has been Bjergsen's best champion. So TSM very predictable with the set first pick. I mean, it's one of Broken Blade's best champion, it's one of the best first picks on blue side after the OPs get banned out. So this is where pick and ban gets really weird for C9. They end up going with Misfortune Lee Sin for their first rotation of draft. I do get what they're trying to do. They want to have an aggressive lane, and they also want to have a proactive jungle, but TSM is 4-0 on Xayah Rakan. I don't think there's any reason to give it over for free, and I really would have liked the C9 take Xayah Rakan here. TSM replies with Xayah Rakan. They're so happy to get these three champions uncontested on blue side. But yeah, I think this is where C9 fucked up so much in draft, letting TSM have these two for absolutely free. Now, rest of the draft is pretty standard. Niski ends up blind picking because he lost to rock, paper, scissors. I think Zoe has been one of Niski's best champions, no complaints here. And also, Zoe helps a lot with the early game prio. I don't think a lot of people know, but she's actually a pretty strong champion early game. And especially due to the RNG of her W, the being able to pick up spells one. If you are able to get a random ass proto belt, if you are able to get a random ass redemption, it's very easy to get priority. So yeah, Zoe a great pick for Niski there. Now, when we get to TSM side, I really like the Zilean pick here. There was a Zilean game early in the split where Bjergsen picked it and he didn't have really good setup, but this comp there's a lot of setup with Zilean. There's Set, there's Rakan, there's Jarvan, there's just a lot of things that the Zilean can play with to make his job a lot easier. This is probably the worst pick of the draft, even a lot worse than the Xayah Rakan, the Shen. What the Shen signals is they want to play around bot lane, and they do want to play around jungle and enable those as much as possible. But it's more of a pick you do earlier on to kind of ease the other lanes and let them counterpick. The Shen into Set is just really troll. You're not going to win the 1v1. You're going to get pushed in most of the game. So yeah, your only out on Shen is through the other lanes. Maybe the Zoe Lee Sin takes the mid lane 2v2. Maybe they're doing a bot dive, but it is really incredibly stupid to use the strongest draft resource you have in the red side last pick on a champion where you won't be winning lane and you're going to have to rely on other lanes to get ahead. So yeah, I just don't understand the Shen pick, and we can talk about how it played out in game. If you look at the two team comps in totality, TSM's game plan is going to be much easier to execute. TSM wants to team fight, TSM wants to scale. They have so many great ways to engage. They have the Jarvan, they have the Rakan, they have the Set flanking, and also They're very comfortable with their draft. Broken Blade with Set, Bjergsen with Zilean, Xayah Rakan for Kabe Biofrost. I think the only person that didn't get a true comfort pick is Dardoch, and J4 is a relatively easy champion to play, so a great draft by TSM. C9 on the other hand has a clear game plan on what they need to do. It's just going to be really hard to execute. They want to make sure the Lee Sin is ahead of Jarvan pretty much the entire game. He does have a good matchup on Jarvan, but he is going to need the help of the lanes. And what they want to do afterwards is constantly dive bot lane. The Shen wants to be ulting bot lane consistently, and they want to make sure they're making the first play and forcing TSM to respond to them. Zilean isn't the strongest champion early game, especially versus Zoe. He's actually very constrained by mana, so there is an opening. But if C9 isn't able to capitalize on the opening, they have very little win conditions later on. Shen isn't going to be able to split push on the set. They don't win team fights. They don't have a great way to engage other than the Leona. But when you look at TSM's comp, no one's really vulnerable to Leona engage. Xayah's going to have her ult. Zilean hopefully has his ult. Zilean hopefully is staying out of range. So yeah, C9 has a really tough job ahead of them in terms of win the early game. If not, the game is pretty much over. So, with that in mind, let's get started with the replay. The first play we have for you is exactly what I talked about. Blabber did 3 camps, and he's invading directly on Dardoch. J4 versus Lee Sin early game, it is so much better for Lee Sin. So even when Jarvan gets damaged like this on Lee, he doesn't have a lot of damage afterwards, so Blabber can just get on top of Dardoch, and yeah, Dardoch's forced to flash away. He also has help of Niski, and also help of Vulcan. Broken Blade actually coming in all the way from top lane, but this is exactly what C9 wants to do. Keep pressure on Dardoch, make sure Blabber is constantly fighting him because J4 is going to be weak early game and Zilean won't be able to help out because Zoe's going to have prio. So continuing on with the aggression, C9 ahead in tempo and they're going to make a play for TSM's blue. The casters talked about maybe potentially diving set here, but I agree with what they ended up saying. You never want to really dive the set, especially beyond level 6. He has the 2 stuns when people are coming in, he has his ult which gives him unstoppable, he also has the grit shield. So C9 able to nicely take away TSM's blue. Here's the caveat though. TSM is able to reply with Herald even though C9 got both blues. Bot lane doesn't have priority because Leona roamed and MF can't lane 1v2 versus Rakan and Xayah. And Lee Sin reset after taking the blue buff and giving the other one to Zoe. So yeah, this Herald's going to be completely free for TSM and they're very happy to get this. They were behind in tempo, they have the worst early game. And the only thing they had to give up to get Herald was their own blue. I mean, yeah, they're more than happy to make that trade. I love what TSM is doing here. You can see Kabe and Bio took the reset when they're actually getting pushed in. So yeah, it should be pretty bad for them, right? But this timing is really crucial. Cause C9 has priority on bot side and they're getting priority from mid and jungle, they're gonna be setting up for a bot lane dive. And if TSM just stays bot lane, then Shen's going to ult on top of Lee Sin or Leona as they're going in, and that bot lane dive is going to be really hard to play against. They don't have mid lane prio. But by them swapping, they're actually putting pressure on C9, and they also have the Herald to play with. So yeah, Licorice should have been really careful. He should know this is coming. There's pings coming down. Instead, he's going to get stunned and then ulted, and then Rakan charmed, then Rakan knocked up, and yeah, he ends up dying for free. This is so good for TSM. Shen isn't able to utilize the ult. They're able to use Herald. Bio goes to place the ward, and this is the problematic thing for TSM. C9 has priority from mid side because it's a Zoe versus Zilean, and there was a giant wave that Bjerg had to deal with, so they're able to pick up 2 return kills. Overall, really good timing of the play for TSM, but they had to realize Bjerg is going to be down in tempo, and they couldn't be too greedy until he could join up, or they have to be a lot more careful until Niski shows himself. TSM continuing with their aggression on top side. They know if they play towards top lane, Shen isn't going to be able to utilize his ult, and yeah, it really devalues the pick if you're able to do that. C9 able to pick up a dragon in response, but this is where the game is going to make or break. If TSM's able to dive the Shen for free, then yeah, things get worse and worse for C9. Licorice starting the dive with his taunt on Dardoch and Broken Blade, going to be CC locked afterwards. Vulcan actually misses his ult, he hits no one. Niski TP's in, putting pressure on Kabe. Kabe forced to ult. He's gonna die. Zben's in the fight. Ooh, dangerous situation for Dardoch. Bjergsen able to TP in and save Dardoch at the very last second. Vulcan flashing out and then stop watching, dodging 2CC. Broken Blade getting in there, stunning the Leo and the MF. He's able to get that Leo kill, but not the MF. MF opening with their ult. And now we're going to have to look at Nifty. Look at Shen here. 2 seconds till reds, 1 second till reds. Now C9 has Shen ult to play with. Nifty starting with the flash W. And then going for the Q. Bjergsen lands the bomb on Nifty, but the Shen ult is going to be able to save him. That was a really good job from C9 being able to converge on top side and making sure Licorice doesn't die for free. This was a 4v5 situation. Blabber took Dragon and he was just farming bot the whole time. So yeah, not the worst for C9 actually, even though the Shen is getting pummeled. I think this is where I felt TSM was a little different. Normally they're very shy about taking fights like this in the mid game, but they're doing a great job. They know they have priority and they know they don't have to back up. So when C9 came into contested vision right here, they just straight took the fight without being scared at all. Yeah, they're gonna get massively ahead here. They kill 3 people, they're able to control river, and they knew they just had more members and also that Xayah could rotate first, and that was it. They didn't let C9 play for vision freely. I think it is such a big problem whenever teams play C9. They think, oh my god, it's C9, they're so good. They smash us in scrims all the time, where they just don't do the basics. But yeah, TSM doing great basics right there actually, and not panicking just because it's C9. Also attacking Licorice, his Shen ult down. I mean, yeah, just make sure you keep playing on the Shen, make sure you keep river control. It sounds so basic, like just play well forehead, but when you do get on stage and you're playing versus a team that's 12-0, it is really hard to play this way, so major props to TSM. One thing that separates C9 from rest of LCS is how good they are when it comes to flanking and taking multi-angle fights. But the problem here is the fight is too honest. Vulcan's up here by himself, he's tanking, Broken Blade ulting him into the back. Shen actually ulted Vulcan, so now everyone's gonna get stunned up. But yeah, C9 doesn't have ways to turn the fight because they can't really flank or take multiple angles. Licorice, who's normally the flanker, he's usually playing something like Aatrox, he's usually playing something like Set, is on Shen, so he can't really look for angles. And the other person that was supposed to look for angles, Blabber, didn't, and he was just coming in through river like the rest of his team. And when the fight is this honest, there's no way C9's comp can beat TSM's comp. Their backline is stronger, they have way more ways to engage. I mean, just look at it. Everyone's just coming in from the same angle. If Blabber isn't flanking, no one else is going to be this game. It's a Shen. Licorice cannot flank. So yeah, Vulcan sitting up here by himself. Gets ulted back in. Set all the way back there. Oh my god, that 3-man stun followed up by the W. And then the zillion bombs and then the Rakan knockup. But even before this fight started, just due to the position of it all, I don't think there was any chance that C9 was going to win it. So C9 smells an opportunity. They're going to try for this one shot on Bjerg. Let's see how it goes. Bjerg walking up. Going to get drowsied. Leona ult to follow up. And then there's a brief moment where he's not stun locked and he's actually able to res himself. C9 invested so many members to get this play done. They're going to be losing both side lanes. Ouch. This is where you can see side lane priority being really important, because TSM's winning side lanes, they're able to threaten dives and get to mid lane a lot faster. I don't know why C9 is trying to defend this turret. When Broken Blade's right here, Nifty and Zben walking up makes it so dangerous. Broken Blade going for the ult on Zben, has to flash out right away. Funny enough, Bio used his W early in the fight, so he has it on cooldown. Now he's going to get it back up when C9 commits. Gonna go for RW. Oh my god, landing it on 3 people and then the zillion bombs to follow up. The caster talked about how good it was for Vio to save his W, but actually what happened was he used it earlier to hop over the wall and he had it on cooldown and he didn't get to use it till later, and at that point C9 bunched up. So yeah, even the little mistakes helping out TSM. TSM got Baron, they reset, now they're setting up for the push on bot side. Landing a nice sleepy trouble on Bjerg. Gonna be a giant chunk. Kabe dodging the Leona ult. And yeah, Niski's off to the side. Gonna end up dying for free. Dardoch engaged by himself. This is actually the problem for TSM often. Dardoch's engaging away from his team or where there's too much distance created. But not really gonna matter. They're still able to get bot turret. Even though it's a 1-for-1, still completely fine for TSM. Bjergsen nicely stacking his med giants. Xayah gonna get stronger and stronger comparatively to the MF as the later the game goes on. Zben walking in by himself, gonna get engaged on. I mean, he has stopwatch, so he's buying time, but yeah, gonna get instantly melted. Oh, he actually buys a lot of time. Wow. This fight is a lot more even than it should have been. Zben bought so much time with the good stopwatch, and it's not really gonna matter. TSM's way too ahead, but I was still surprised. Niski eating more bombs. Aw, the safeguard not enough to save him. And TSM's gonna be able to stop C9's undefeated streak. Who knew? You lose to the worst team in the league in CLG, and you're able to beat the best team in the league. This team is very inconsistent. Or maybe they just really improved this week. Overall, I think C9's approach to the game was way more desperate than it had to be. They were just so focused on that Blabber versus Dardoch matchup, where I think TSM actually has pretty good early game, and it's the mid game that's been atrocious for TSM, and it's the mid game that's been so amazing for C9. But by opting into the Shen pick, they left their comp to be very one-dimensional in terms of the game plan, and also in teamfights, Licorice couldn't flank at all. So yeah, I think with a different draft, this game looks very different. But let's give credit where credit is due. TSM played aggressively, they played without fear, they were very smart about constantly playing onto the Shen and playing on their tempo and not letting C9 get control of the game. So yeah, props to you, TSM. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. I've been streaming full time again, so check me out on twitch.tv/Locodoco. And one last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just loco. Bye.